FIFA 23 has some good news, but it's also got some bad news. And to be honest, I'm more disappointed in the bad news than I am excited for the good news. I'll get into all of that and more FIFA 23 news in this video, but before we do not forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys have been enjoying the FIFA 23 and World Cup content that we've been dropping on the channel. And a lot of you guys that have been watching it on the daily aren't subscribed to the channel yet, so make sure you're not one of them. Hit that sub button down below. But as I said, we've got some bad news, and honestly, in the last video, we actually talked about this. FIFA 17 was the last FIFA that was drastically a positive change to FIFA in such a huge way, because in FIFA 17, we saw Weekend League introduced, we saw squad building challenges introduced, and we saw ones to watch dynamic cards introduced into the game. Everything was so fresh, it was exciting, it was new, and it was good. It was all fantastic. And then FIFA 18, they promised more, but realistically, it was just FIFA 17, but worse. And then FIFA 19, I don't even want to get started on that. We did a tier list video in the last episode, as I just mentioned, and that deserved the below F ranking for sure. FIFA 20, they tried, where they introduced Volta, but ask yourself, how many hours have you spent on Volta's game mode in the last 4 years? Not much, right? FIFA 21, FIFA 22, maybe it's slightly getting better, but no drastic changes in the game. It's getting a little bit stale for a lot of people, including myself. And FIFA 23 is really our chance to change that. And when EA announced that everything would be cross-platform for this game, I thought immediately, okay, the markets are going to combine. It's going to be easier to make content on Trading and Ultimate Team, which is going to be great for my channel. But then I thought, wait a minute, making pro clubs teams is going to be so much better because you don't have to have the same console as your friend or as another content creator. You can just get right on and play pro clubs with your friends. I think that is the best decision EA could make if they pull it off. And just the other day, it was confirmed Crossplay will 100% not be in pro clubs for FIFA 23. Now, immediately, you're disappointed with that because that's the biggest aspect of crossplay getting introduced into FIFA. Because pro clubs with your friends, some of your friends have Xbox, some of your friends have PlayStation, some of your friends might be on PC. You got to get new friends if that's the case. Either way, they're not going to be in pro clubs, and I don't see the point anymore of having this. Sure, it might make Ultimate Team experience a little bit better, but realistically, the reason everybody was excited for the crossplay was for pro clubs. And the fact that it's not going to be in there is a huge, huge disappointment. So the next thing people think about is, okay, it's probably just not ready yet. They're already rolling it out for Ultimate Team, which means it's probably going to come mid-year. And I'm here as a veteran of FIFA, somebody who's played this for over a decade. I've gotten very close. I've met several EA employees. I've been part of their Game Changer network for several years. I'm here to tell you that's never going to happen, guys. EA is not the type of company to go out of their way, spend money and resources to improve the game mid-year after you've already bought it, when it's not even Ultimate Team, where they can get you addicted to FIFA points and make extra money off of it. There's no shot. But we do have some good news. It's not all bad news. And to be honest, for me, that doesn't make or break me buying the game. I'm still excited for it. I'll still be playing it. I'll still be making content for it, obviously. And we've got 5 new icons added into the game that are already confirmed. We might see a couple more as we get closer to the game's released, but these are probably going to be the 5 that we see. It's going to be Gerd Muller, who I think deserves it, no doubt. We've got Zico, we've got Jairzinho, we've got Batistuta, and we've got Voller, the German striker here. And I've been a proponent as somebody who really doesn't believe that there should be this many icons in the game. I mean, there are so many icons. It's kind of out of hand at this point. And sure, they're still a little bit difficult to pack, but when I think icon, I do think of Pele or Maradona or Ronaldinho, R9, Cruyff. Yes, those are all icons, no doubt, but do I think of John Barnes or Ronald Koeman or Jairzinho? Not really. Not really. And some of the icons that have been introduced aren't really even known by 75% of the community, and that's not to say they shouldn't be an icon, but I just think that it should be a more exclusive group of players. I think that there should be maybe only 30 icons in the game, but I mean, we are going dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of icons, and then they all have 3 different cards in the game, 4 different cards in the game by April. It's just too many icons. It kind of sucks the magic out of the term icon if there's so many of them. If it's a really rare card, super hard to get, they're all iconic, all expensive, then you don't end up having Coman, who's cheaper than Mbappe. In the game, these icons should be some of the best cards in the game until Team of the Year comes out, right? So I think that it's a little bit oversaturated. And introducing so many new icons each year is a bit much. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down below. And then we've also got Robin and David Villa. They're in the code, okay? So Arya and Robin could see an icon, and that card would be absolutely disgusting if it looked like that. That looks like such a good card. And yes, right now we're kind of numb to a card that looks like this, because after Team of the Season, after Fuddies, after Shapeshifters, after all of these new promo cards have been released, every single card looks like this or better. But at the beginning of a FIFA or in December, these cards are absolutely incredible. So it's just, realistically, we're just looking at some of these cards and being like, oh yeah, I guess that's usable. But we're looking at them in July. You got to understand that. Hero cards are coming in huge, okay? And I think those really do well to bridge the gap between hero cards and icons, because you look at a player like Landon Donovan, he got a legend/icon card a few years ago in FIFA, but again, does he deserve an icon card, a legend card in FIFA? Not really. You know, he was a great player. There's no denying it, and he was huge for his country. He was a huge name, very influential, but was he on the same talent level as players like R9? Absolutely not, right? So I think Hero does a very good job to bridge the gap between icons and regular cards or players who have retired, right? So Diego Forlan is getting a Hero card. Yaya Toure, you could argue he deserves an icon, but I think Hero is fine. Claudio Marquezio, perfect. Landon Donovan is actually getting a Hero card, which is perfect. Dirk Kuyt, that's a perfect Hero card. And this really just bridges that gap, because for most of these guys, I mean, you could argue for Forlan and Toure for icon cards. They might be on the fence. But for all of these, huge names, great players, not exactly icons, right? Juninho, obviously one of the best free kick takers of all time. He'll have 99 free kicks, I'm assuming. Lucio, Ledley King, Peter Crouch, that's hilarious. I love that. Jean-Pierre Papin, Sidney Govou. I looked at this card. I didn't know who he was beforehand, but he might be a really, really nice French forward for us that can link maybe with the French forwards that we've already got in FIFA 22. Rafa Marquez, obviously a great Mexican center back. Brolin, Park Ji-sung, excuse me. Manchester United legend, South Korea legend. Definitely deserves to get in there. Ricardo Carvalho, Harry Kuehl, don't know who he is either. Saeed Al-Awaran, he's going to get a hyperlink to the Al Jabir, so that's a cool little link they'll have with hero cards. Atsuto Uchida, I don't know who that is. Joan Capdevila, I don't know who that is. And then obviously everybody knows who Diego Simeone is. So those are all different hero cards that are getting introduced into FIFA 23. This card is very important news, because this is the leaked card that's called a Foot Heroes World Cup, okay? Or a World Cup Foot Hero. So it's not like a normal Foot Hero. It'll be a different design. And this is what it looks like, which kind of gives me like Australia green and yellow vibes to it. Really cool card. But it's also dynamic based on how many games in the World Cup their team wins. So I assume getting out of the group stage will give you an upgrade or two, and then getting out of the round of 16, round of 8, etc., etc. This card is big news, because we weren't sure if EA were going to capitalize on the fact that the World Cup is going to drop right at the beginning of FIFA 22. Or 23, that is. In FIFA 18, we saw World Cup mode, but it was over the summer. In FIFA 14, we saw World Cup mode, and it was over the summer. In 2010, we saw a separate entire video game called South Africa World Cup 2010, which obviously capitalized on the World Cup. So obviously they were going to do something, but now that we're seeing their own cards for it, I'm hoping that it also has its own game mode, because it's really still up for speculation, and we don't know for sure how EA are going to do this, because it is only 1.5 months into the game before the World Cup actually happens. Normally it's in June, July, game's over by then, adding something crazy like a World Cup mode isn't going to really affect the overall course of the game. It's almost over anyway. This will. And I still hope that they do something to where you can collect each card of a player who plays in the World Cup, because that was some of the best memories I've had playing FIFA, is collecting every single World Cup mode card in FIFA 14 and in FIFA 18, which I have done both years, so I want to keep that streak going. This is one step in the right direction, but will we see a World Cup mode itself? Not for certain. I apologize for the blurry picture, but this is all I've got. If you get the Ultimate Edition, and you can get 10% off pre-ordering from the FIFA 22 game, you get up to 3 days early access. I do not like how they say up to 3 days, because that means that they have wiggle room to not release it 3 days before or exactly 72 hours before. You get dual entitlement, includes current and next-gen versions. That's the same as it was this year. You get a ones-to-watch item, which, to be honest, unless you are one of the really lucky people, that's nothing. That is nothing. It's nothing but SBC fodder or a hopeful dream at that point. You do get 4,600 FIFA points, which is like nearly $40 worth of FIFA points. So if you're buying the game, the standard edition, and then getting FIFA points anyway, then you might as well get the Ultimate Edition. I'm somebody who hasn't gotten any FIFA points in FIFA since before price ranges, so with that being said, these are the only FIFA points that I'll ever get to use, because I don't buy FIFA points. You do get a Team of the Week 1 player untradeable, which I believe is new. They might have done it this year, but that is something nice, because one, a lot of those Team of the Week 1 players end up being very valuable. Two, they're really hyped up cards. You know, Team of the Week 1, Team of the Week 2 are really cool. You get to Team of the Week 25, it gets a little bit stale. But right at the beginning of the game, Team of the Week is actually a really fun promo. You get a Kylian Mbappe loan item, which is nothing. A lone player pick, nothing. And then for career mode, you get a homegrown talent for all those career mode players out there, which realistically is not enough of an incentive for career mode players, in my opinion. I think they need to do something a little bit more. Most of what you're getting out of the Ultimate Edition is Ultimate Team-based rewards, as you guys can see. In one of my next videos, I'm going to release a calendar of release dates for what you can expect the beta to drop, when you can expect the web app to drop, early access, all of that good stuff. So I'm going to make a calendar and make a video on that for you guys here sometime soon. So do not forget to subscribe to the channel for that. There's also speculation that there's going to be like a 2v2 competitive mode. Maybe it's part of Weekend League. Something along those lines, and just more FIFA news is coming out every single day. We're actually expecting the trailer to come out later today, and I don't expect to see too much new stuff out of the trailer. The first trailer that comes out for each FIFA is normally pretty vague, and doesn't have a ton of information on it other than maybe a date or two, which I think we already know anyway. We're going to learn more from leaks as we get closer to the game, and I will keep you guys updated with that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to the end of the video, go ahead and let me know what you are excited for most or disappointed with most about FIFA 23 Ultimate Team, and I'll make sure to heart and try to reply to as many comments down below as possible. I should be able to get to all of you guys, so make sure to comment that down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.